Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues and the Batman universe. And today, as you could tell, we are taking a look at Poison Ivy from the Batman animated series line. She is a 1994 figure, and she was one of the first, in one of the first few waves of the animated series that came out that following year in '94. And for review's sake, she is the last villain I will be reviewing in the context of the animated series as a whole before we get into, that's including the Adventures of Batman and Robin, before we get into the New Adventures of Batman, or Gotham Knights as it sometimes is referred to, as the kind of fourth season where they redesigned the figure. So this will be the last one, villain-wise, of the old designs of the animated series. So there were 30 figures out of this first line of the animated series before it goes into the Adventures of Batman and Robin. And on my list, she is listed as figure 25. That doesn't mean she's the 25th figure release. That's just whoever put this list together. So out of this first batch of figures, with there being 30 figures, and then you kind of get, 28 figures, and you get into the deluxe figures. There were 33 in all, and I have all of those, but I'm looking at my, little list here, all but 4 figures. So I thought that was pretty good or pretty sad for me for the animated series, buying so many figures, but they all look so cool. As you can tell from the way she's posed here, because of her Venus flytrap, Little Shop of Horrors gun there, I have to have her leaned up against Wayne Manor while she's holding it, as she does not stand very well with this gadget in her hands, as she'll fall right over. Again, she is going to get ranked in with other figures that I am missing accessories. I'm missing her little crossbow that she has. It's a little tiny yellow, probably no bigger than the pen cap here. Maybe a little smaller than that, actually. That one I may have just lost, or I hope it's somewhere. I hope a lot of these are somewhere. I mean, I've had these figures for 20 years, so one could say, well, I just probably lost some over time. But I have so many of them, I wouldn't think I'd have been that irresponsible, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I do have this, though. Like I said, if I let her go, she's going to fall right over. She does not hold this very well. This is kind of how she's supposed to have this one. The crossbow, I think, is normally supposed to go in this one, or this one as well, but this is supposed to look like some type of a, not a rocket launcher, but a mouth launcher. So let's bring up, we'll bring up the Boy Wonder. We always pick on Batman. So if Robin's trying to tell her to stop, the gimmick with this one would be the teeth open up. Okay, so that's not going to work. But I think you get the, to bite Robin here and take him away. So, nice little gimmick here. It's pretty kind of cool. I wish it was on some kind of base. I think this would have been cool if they would have had it as a potted plant, or if you could have put it in something and you could have pushed down on it and maybe held, Batman or Robin up over it, kind of do one of those things like they're going to get eaten. So, as I'm kind of playing with the toys. Again, I just kind of marvel at the spring mechanisms that are in some of these, that still works really, really well. And, it's not really going to do any damage to you if you put your finger in it, as we knock Poison Ivy over. But, a nice little gimmick. I wish I still had her crossbow. I'm banking on that I still have a lot of these, so maybe I'll do a follow-up video sometime, if and when I find all the accessories. So, and they textured the inside of it to look like a roof of a mouth, which is really pretty cool that they did that. See, it looks like there's number 4 in there, and there's a number 8 in there, or number 3, excuse me. I'm not exactly sure what that's referring to, but maybe it's a part number, or piece 3, piece 4. Maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Who knows? But nice, cool little accessory. Like I said, she doesn't hold it very well. Sometimes I am able to get it to prop up next to her, which I'm not going to be able to do on this base. So sometimes I would kind of have it like that, like it's one of her plants or something. But we'll take a look at Pamela Eisley. Again, I think the face sculpt is very well spot on from the animated series. See her nice green eyes. And I like the look of the figure. They really make her look as sexy and as feminine as they can in plastic form. And somebody may be saying, well, calm down, Rob. But I think you get what I'm saying. She doesn't look like she's, you know, overly bulky, and the Catwoman figure was hunched over and her weird stance. And I think they made a nice, attractive figure, which Poison Ivy is supposed to be that. She has 4 points of articulation, but it looks like she has 5. Of course, her arms move. Wow, I almost took that arm off. I don't know if you saw that right there. So the arm does move, but her hair sticks out here. That's the first time I've ever really done that. I've had it up that far, but the hair started to push the socket of her arm almost right off. That kind of worried me there. I had this figure for 20 years. I'm going to break it on camera. So, you know, the arms could go all the way around. You could see there's a little bit of green. I don't know if the camera could pick that up or not. A little bit of green in her arms, which I think is just paint rub. But then again, could say that she's being, you know, just her plant-like self. Tiny little arms. Again, with the female figures, they are sitting spread eagle here. So, like I said, they can get into a seated position, but it's not very ladylike. So we will move the camera from that spot. So, I don't know if it's just with the hips or the rear end or the butt area that when they're sculpting these legs to kind of get this nice hourglass shape, if it's causing the legs to, in just the way it's made, do this funny, weird, almost spread eagle pose. So kind of little odd. Her head, as you can see, there is a cut at her neck where the head should turn, but the way the hair is sculpted, there is no way this head is going to move. So I always kind of thought that was a bummer. I mean, it's really nicely sculpted, but you can't even turn the head. So I think the head was, you know, a separate piece, obviously, that they put it on, and with no intention of this head ever moving whatsoever. But again, 20 years, it's, you know, big solid chunk of plastic here. So maybe there's something they could have done, but I'm not going to try and look at this figure as if it came out in 2013 and go, I can't believe I can't move the head. It's 1994, so we're pushing 20 years with this figure. It is what it is, but the few things that might be kind of off about, you know, with the legs and not turning the head, it is a really nice figure to look at. For size comparison, let's bring up Batman, who she's always trying to seduce, to, you know, tell Batman that the plants are going to rule the world. I think she does look really good. A nicely sculpted figure. Again, very much in the representation of Batman the Animated Series, that you can instantly look at this and go, that's Poison Ivy. You know, I think all these figures you don't look at and go, oh, I guess that's supposed to be Poison Ivy. You know, they got the face all jacked up. But again, I think the face is just really well and looks really good. And I think all of the figures, for the time, with, you know, a technology that toy manufacturers had, to get it to look like this, I think is really good on Kenner's part. And Kenner was always really good at doing that. Some manufacturers, just for whatever reason, don't seem to nail the faces of characters, or sometimes the body. You kind of look at it and go, oh, what's this piece of plastic crap? I have not thought about that on any single animated series figure at all. I've been very pleased with every one. Excuse me, as I'm coughing here on camera. So, not that this is the end of the review or anything. I still have a box of a few figures, probably maybe 15, 20 figures probably. So we still have a little bit more to go through, but as far as the first 3 seasons of the animated series, or the animated series is kind of broken up into some weird seasons, but if you've bought them on DVD, there are 4 volumes. So we'll say 3 volumes of the animated series. This is going to wrap it up for the villains and the main heroes. Now I do have a few other deluxe figures to look at, and then we're going to get into the next part of the animated series. And like I've said, this was turned into, a movie was made out of the animated series. Actually, there were a couple, but this was the first, and I do have the figures from that line. So all you animated series fans probably know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, stay tuned for, I've actually through this whole animated series review, because I've got some really cool things coming up. So thanks for watching thus far. I think this is going to be animated series video number 29, maybe even 30. I've got one uploading over here over my shoulder. I think this might be 30, and we'll find out once it's in the description down here if I am right, if this is 30. But 30 figures, and I said I have approximately 60 figures, which I think is actually closer to the lower end of 60, maybe the high 50s, but still, I think that's quite a bit of figures. And I'm rambling here. So today we've been taking a look at Poison Ivy from the Batman animated series line that came out. It started in '93. This is a 1994 figure, and she was one of the first villain or villainesses to come out in 1994. So, as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the Batman universe, signing off saying we will see you guys next time.